Okay, I can't hear me right now, so I'm going to wait for confirmation over here. Okay, welcome everyone to another one of these little things we are doing on Fridays. It's really a really chill thing for us to play along with and to clarify some questions, really. Okay, let me know if you can hear everything correctly, my voice, and here's the bass. Um, Let me know if you can hear that so we can start, okay? Without delay and whatever. So, as I was telling to you, if you're new to this is a place for me to answer your most of your questions in the knowledge I possess right now. Really, I never consider myself an expert. Really, like other really good educators right here on the YouTube, but I think I'm more oriented to basic knowledge and how to approach it in other ways. You can say it like that. But I'm trying to defend myself with whatever question you can give me, and most of it try to create some kind of community over here. Okay, I tend to upload weekly now, and I'm giving some advices in the description, usually on the messages, on the comments about theory, about how to play various things, and I'm liking that reception, and I'm usually linking you to come here on Fridays so we can clarify even more things about what I've been playing, how to play it, what other songs that I've been playing in the channel, and how to play certain parts, how to manage certain techniques, really, and whatever you want. I remind you that I'm doing this every Friday about 3 or 4 o'clock in Eastern Time. I think you call it like that. I remind you I'm not from America, I'm from Latin America, I'm from Chile. So I do my best with my English. I think I'm improving in matter of communication, really. I don't know if I'm interested in copying every type of accent that you guys have. I think it's enough for me if you can understand me correctly. Okay. So I remind you of that. I have some socials you can follow, especially on Facebook, if you want to get some advice on when I'm starting this, some news really on whatever thing I can tell you. And super chat is activated now, so if you really want a more detailed question on anything, you can tell me. And I have donations on the description also for PayPal if you want to help me. That also links me all the time to remind you that anything that I do is supported by people, for by you, really. I'm not getting income from any other part, so you feed me, really. You give me rent and you give me anything, so that's something I always think about, and I'm trying to return to you. Okay, so let's all try to take good advantage of this communications. um I'll be reading some comments soon in the live chat. I used to use Twitter, but it wasn't that common, so I'm sticking to the live chat. And what else? I don't remember what else. But I'll be giving you some advice on whatever you want. Like Acid says, I got a 5 string now. Do you know nice riffs? I don't have a 5 string. I actually never played one. Never have had one. So I think I can't give you much examples of that. Okay. Um, I usually tend also to recommend you of other YouTubers that you need to follow if you want to get more into this. You know, I use my subscription box like uh, like TV really. So I tend to subscribe to things that I want to watch, and I want to watch daily to get knowledge out of it and to get practice and whatever. So I'm subscribed to Scott from Scott Bass Lessons, of course. I discovered a new channel recently that I like the way he's doing things about teaching. I don't remember. I think it's called Learn Bass Now or something like that. And then you have a couple others that I don't remember really. But I tend to go more for the educational part of this, okay? Pedagogical approach into teaching little things. So, someone asked if I like metal, really? I don't know. Let me go up. Do you like metal music? Yeah, about genres and about favorites, I think I'm going to be quick about this. I'm a really eclectic person in terms of music. Okay, I enjoy everything, and I actually was kind of like a metalhead in my beginnings. Then I started to understand that I couldn't, if I wanted to be dedicated to music, I couldn't just go into one genre. Okay, that's really limiting for your own genre. Even if you want to play metal for your whole life, you should listen to other genres because metal is not enclosed into it. Okay, the beginnings and the ends and the ramifications of metal will never be just on metal. Okay, that will be in every genre that covers music. Really, okay. There's not there's not much difference between genres if you think about it and if you know a little bit about music history, really. But yeah, that's it. I'm not giving much attention to people requesting songs, because this is not the place for me to play songs. First of all, because I don't want to get into copyright things that will not benefit me really, and the place for requesting things is on YouTube comments. Okay, someone just told me yesterday, I think, that it's sad that that I'm not doing a comment request now. I understand that I at first in this channel I was just doing whatever people told me in the comments, but things needed to change, especially for me to get more professional. So I'm attending to Patreon, of course. I remind you of that if you really want a song to be done and you want to support me. Patreon is really the way, and it's for a minimum of $5 that you can access to get a song. Okay, $5 monthly, and beyond, of course. But yeah, I also regret I'm not paying much attention to the most popular things, but I really think we can learn from everything, even if it is a more obscure song and maybe a less known tune. You get to learn things about it, and there's some advantages about that, because from not that common songs you can get not that common influences. You can borrow some things, even steal some things if you want to, and you can learn about genres, learn about get more involved into what I just said. Okay, learning all types of music and appreciating all types of music. Okay, in this week I covered uh, K-pop, and then a song that it's usually in the realm of post-punk. Okay, you have those two really confrontational maybe genres. Maybe in 1 week I will cover a death metal song, and then I will cover a pop song. I don't know. Okay, I don't really care about those prejudice people that usually dislike or don't like that type of playing with music. I really like that, and we should all try to kind of like erase a little bit of the differences between genres, I think. Okay, enough of me talking. I have a lot of questions over here. I'm sorry if I can't answer everything. Hey, can you show me how to properly mute with left hand while slapping, like Mark King type of slap? I don't really know him, actually. So I will give you the technique I'm using for that. Okay, the name is Super Fat. He asked me about mute left hand while slapping. Okay, so I'm trying to implement something over here so I don't get lost. So I'm going to write this so people that watch this after it is actually streamed tend to get a little bit lost. So we're going to talk a little bit about slapping mutes or ghost notes. I don't know, just a little bit of it. So yeah, I'm going to use that little thing so we don't get lost. I hope you can see it. I don't know. So about slapping, once you get the technique fully done, trying to use a lot of your wrist while playing with your right hand and improving your position, and I'm assuming that you already have some knowledge on getting a good hand position in both hands. For muting and for ghost notes, it's really important. First of all, for ghost notes to not just not give that much attention into ghost notes and just using one finger to use them, and then trying to use the most fingers you can, as I always say. For slapping in general, you need a little bit more grip onto your fretboard, I think, onto your neck. I see a lot of slapping players that don't care much about passing through with your thumb over here, so it gives you a little bit more space for muting strings, as you told me, and using the thumb actually for a tool, it's not bad. Okay, we can actually use it if we are I don't know, slapping over here, and I tend to do. When I go over here, I tend to go and go past with a little bit with my thumb. I can do it without it. And it's the recommended thing. But in some more extreme cases, you need to be aware of trying to mute this. Especially if I'm playing, I don't know, something like this. Imagine that's the riff. If I'm not doing this, it will be a little bit more difficult to mute it without that. And I will be using my right hand actually for muting. And that's one of two options that you can implement. Okay, if you want to maintain a better grip in your left hand, you can use especially your palm to try to mute more of the open string. For that example, I'm using the the end part of my palm over here, to try to mute more of the sound, okay? But sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes you need to have a good basis, a good I think you could call it a good basis in terms of position, and then trying to break a little bit of the rules, okay? Maybe if I'm slapping, I want to get a little bit more grip. So there's people too scared, usually, when you're getting into an intermediate position. There's people a little bit scared of breaking a little bit of the rules, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you return into a good position, of course, okay? And for ghost notes, I think it's kind of like the same thing for muting, okay? I'm going to assume anytime you talk to me about questions that if you say ghost notes, I'm going to talk about ghost notes, and if you say muting, I'm going to talk about muting strings, undesired noise that you can get from not muting strings, okay? But that would be a little bit of a little advice, okay? Another thing that I will be trying to do now, it's not getting much into one question and trying to cover a lot of them, okay? So that's it with that one. Farid Thames says, "Hey man, just wanted to say thanks for all the content you put. Been following you since 2014 and you helped me a lot learning my favorite songs. Keep doing what you like." Saludos de Argentina, excelente amigo. Saludos a todos los compatriotas y obviamente aquí en Chile y también en toda Latinoamérica y los vecinos, que los queremos mucho. Nada de confrontamiento acá. Y por supuesto, en español también estoy respondiendo, no hay problema, ¿ok? Si alguien tuviese alguna duda. Pero estoy haciendo streams especialmente en español, así que no me voy a dedicar tanto a aquello. Okay. So that's it about it. Thanks everyone watching now. It's about 50 people, so thanks. I don't remember with how many people we started this, but I really want to get more people into this. It's kind of like attending to class, okay? And it will give you more things to appreciate probably. You know, I tend to look at myself like one of you, and maybe I would watch this just playing around and listening to this guy, okay? Is there any way to see your videos that are blocked by YouTube? Says Shan Young. For example, your Daft Punk, Voyager, and now your Mundans. Yeah. There's many videos that had actually been blocked, and I really can't do much about that because I usually file some disputes. That's a thing you can do in case. It's kind of like a thing you can do for asking to get it not blocked, okay? And I tend to say, okay, this is just for educational purpose, okay? I'm not getting money from the video itself. I'm just trying to allow people to watch the goddamn video. I'm not I don't want to get profit out of it because I manage myself with Patreon. So it's really unfair. I don't really share it, blocking some songs. Especially for me, you know, I'm trying to teach songs. I'm not just reproducing songs, okay? So there's nothing really I can do besides trying to maybe get a little bit more popular and maybe try to get more active in matters of policies. I don't know. But for now it's not a big deal, especially when I upload the bass only things that you can download if you want. I don't care if you download my videos or and you can sync it up with the song by yourself. I don't know. There's many things you can do, and you have the tablet to. In one or other way, you're not getting lost if you watch the bass only. And you help me a little bit more because those are not restricted in copyright. I'm maybe thinking about for patrons especially trying to upload all of the videos that have been blocked, but I really need to go through every one of them actually and see if I have them in my drives and upload it like kind of like as a prize into Patreon, just with a link, maybe a Mediafire link. I don't know. Maybe I would do that really soon because I want to give more and more appreciation to patrons. They really deserve it. Really, we all have to praise them because it's a really game-changing thing we're trying to do. Okay. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold. I'm going to do that, Shan. I promise. Okay. Has the apocalypse affected you in any way? And yeah, that's the thing. I'm just talking about. Really, by fortune of me, I I started with Patreon really early. I remember seeing. I followed Pomplamoose. That's the band of Jack, the creator of Patreon, and and I followed them, and then I had this video that he was so excited about a new platform, and he said so many nice things about that, and I just started with it. Okay, I had actually one patron for many months. I He's actually still being my patron until this time, and more came, of course, and I could actually get a little bit more professional into it, and that's of course with a lot of work and a lot of years of trying and trying, and I'm still trying. Okay. So I really recommend Patreon for any one of you that want to start with something, but you really need to be constant. And for that reason, I don't mind getting. I think I'm being transparent because I don't care about money and whatever. I think I get about $200, maybe $100 probably, just by YouTube videos. Considering that I upload daily most of the week, and every time, and every video gets at least 2,000 views or something like that. Maybe that's really less that I should get. But as I said, I don't really care. As long as I can do this, we're fine. Patrick Leonard says, "Thanks for what you do. I have learned a lot from you." Thanks to you. Thanks everyone really watching this. Okay. Arturo Urbina Carmona, ¿puedes explicar Ghost Notes? Por supuesto. Rápidamente para gente en español y que está viendo ahora. No lo voy a marcar como un tópico porque lo quiero pasar rápido, pero importantísimo posar tu mano sin tocar, o sea, tocando las cuerdas, pero sin presionar hacia el bajo en sí, ¿ok? Solamente manteniendo esa distancia, ¿ok? La presión hacia adentro no se hace, sino que solamente posando las cuerdas. Y lo importante es, como le decía a la gente en inglés, no es solo un dedo, es la mayor cantidad de dedos que puedas usar para afirmar bien ese sonido percusivo que queremos tener. Entonces una buena práctica es tomar aquí con la mano y empezar a tocar cuerda por cuerda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Y el sonido debe ser bien percusivo, ¿ok? Y después podemos practicar intercalando entre notas y notas fantasma o ghost notes. Puede ser y después cambiamos de cuerda. Si te fijas, lo que siempre yo voy haciendo es no solamente usar un dedo, es usar la mayoría de dedos que puedo usar, que me permita la mano y principalmente presionar y no presionar. Intercalando entre presionar y no presionar, simplemente te va a dar mucho la idea de lo que es tocar en nota fantasma, ¿ok? Así bien rápido. Si hay más preguntas me las comentas. Can you talk about right hand technique? Sure. Let's make a little bit about that. I'm going to actually write it so we don't get lost. Right hand technique. Okay, here it is. Okay, about the right hand, there's many things regarding technique, especially a lot of things that people tend to do, and I don't think they are that correct. Okay, we can actually start with the right arm, especially when I've seen a lot of people trying to put their arm like over here and trying to play with the wrist just tied to the edge of the bass, and that is really not correct because you're straining yourself and you need to get a loose wrist to really play correctly. Okay, so it's with the base of the arm into the bass. Okay, after that the movement is always at least at the beginning index middle index middle index middle, or middle index if you're more into playing with the middle first. No problem with that. I actually do that. I tend to go middle first, but I'm flexible into that. Okay, you need to be flexible, not just getting accustomed to start always with one finger or another. So it's all about playing, plucking the string from behind, and we're not doing this. We're not lifting our finger. We're not trying to play with the fingernail. We're just using the base part of the tip of the finger to plug the string upwards, and then rest our finger in the other string in case we're playing the A string, D string, or G string. If we're playing the E string, the most recommended thing is to plug and then go into your thumb, and your thumb must be always kind of like an axis for you to go into the strings. Okay, so you have your thumb in a neutral position over here, maybe if you're in the middle, or maybe resting in one of the two pickups if you have a jazz type bass, you know. Usually resting on the pickups, or maybe just in whatever position over here, trying to press a little bit so you're constant with your motions. Okay, we're not trying to be to do a lot of not important movements. Okay, we're always trying to make economy out of this. So there you have your thumb, and trying to play with both fingers, always going into the thumb, and always, if you're in the other strings that are not the E string, trying to rest the fingers over there. Okay, resting always over there will give you a better grip and a better sound, a more constant sound, because you can manage to be that dynamically constant if you're just pushing with your kind of like a strumming, like you're in with a guitar. It's not like that. Okay, it's not doing something like that, and fingers go into anywhere. Okay, you can also do that if the context allows you. Okay, no problem. But usually the standard thing would be pressing, plucking, and then resting in the other string. Okay, so a good way to practice of always is trying to play 4 of each string. Okay, from G string, trying to stop the sound of each one of them, so you don't get this. Okay, so you play 4, stop. Okay, or maybe you can just choose whatever note you want over here. Okay, and about speed and many other things we can talk later, but technique in itself, it's the base. I think it's that the main thing. Okay, relaxed position, relaxed wrist, trying to give the things that I just told you, especially about the resting on the other string. That's, I think it's really important. It really depends where you play. If you play over here and you play over here, usually your hand might shift a little bit. Okay, it's a more straight arm and wrist if you're playing over here. If you're playing over here, you tend to go more in an angle to play. You're not doing this. You're playing more in an angle over here because your arm never moves from this place. Okay, so you need to be covering all of this. And what else? I don't know. Being always, as I said, left, right, always index, middle, always trying to alternate. Okay, there's other techniques like raking that we can go after, and many other things. But for basics, I think what else? Yeah. Many people don't use the thumb also when they're going down and up on strings. If I'm playing the G string, I usually go and place my thumb in the D string, in the other string, the same string that my other fingers will follow after. Okay, so if I'm playing the G string, I put the thumb in the D string. If I'm playing the D string, I put it in the A string, and if I put it in the A string, I place it in the E string. So I'm just going by the following string, and that helps me a lot with managing a lot of the unwanted noises that I can reproduce while playing, and also get more fixed in my positions. Okay, if I'm just placing my thumb over here and playing over here and then here and here, I create this type of position that some people actually use. There's no problem with that. Okay, but for me, I really like to go with a more relaxed and less trained position in that manner. If you're playing the G string and placing your thumb over here, it might be a little more difficult to reach it. Okay. So I don't know what else about basics, but the last thing I just said, it's really important, and some people don't use it that much. I really like to use it. Okay, trying to move yourself with your whole set of fingers. Okay, you're not static over here, but every movement should be thought really smoothly. Okay, all of this it's really like dancing. You're controlling every movement you do. Okay, you're not giving anything to chance in a way. You're always trying to keep every movement controlled, and for that it's really important to play slowly. Okay, each time you play really slow, you're really getting into how to play and how to manage each movement. Each movement should be controlled. Okay, and that it's a really important thing. I think that's enough for that topic for now. Okay. Okay, enough. I think it's working a little bit, this thing. um, I mean the thing about putting the titles. Can you talk about polyrhythms on right hand? Oh, like Renko's playing style. I gotta say, I don't really know it. I don't really know him. If he's a guy, I don't know. But I think Mr. Nassim's told you something interesting, and that is the one YouTuber I left behind, because I don't consider it more like a bass oriented thing. It's more like music in general. But Adam Neely, he's doing a really nice job with many things. I'm actually supporting him on Patreon. You should maybe, because it's coming with a new wave of understanding music that it might be a really helpful. Yeah, but about the thing that David says, I gotta say I don't know. And I prefer to not lie, really. Okay, I know I don't know a lot of things, and maybe that's another little advice actually. If you don't know something, be aware that you don't know it, but don't ever lie about it. Okay, don't ever try to look great and say no, I do really know it, and you don't do that. That's really harmful for both of you. I prefer to go next week and actually maybe listen something about that Renko guy or Renko, I don't know, and then maybe telling you something. Okay. Muting with the thumb. You need to tell me about what hand for that. Okay. But I think for both hands, muting with the thumb, it's really important actually. For the left hand, you should try to avoid it and use it in a kind of like a last resort, really. Okay. If you really think that muting with the thumb it's the last resort, the last thing you could do, you should really do it. And for a better grip, there's no problem with going with your thumb over here. Okay. But there's usually a secondary and a little bit more difficult way of muting and not using your thumb. Like I said, trying to use more of your right hand and whatnot. But I gotta think of some examples. But usually with open strings, especially with open strings, let's think about if you have a line that is just this. And I am actually working in a lot of songs from the Motown era, from the beginning of bass, really, with Jamerson, of course, and with the precision bass and the more academic and more double bass influenced bass playing. You had a lot of open strings that had to be taken care of. If you have an A here open, and then you go into an E, and you don't mute this A string, that will give you a lot of troubles. So muting with your index, for example, that would be really important. And I'm trying to implement that, because many of us bassists don't mess around a lot with the open strings, and that is a really important thing. Because it's difficult to mute and whatever. Sorry. Okay. Clemente Contreras, I'm going to answer your question. Okay. Finger velocity. Let's go into that. I'm going to say right hand speed. Okay, this is a thing. Speed is a thing, really, that we all wanted or maybe want to go into. And in some cases, you're too excited for that, too wanting to go into how can I get more and more speed and whatever, and that is your final goal. And it really shouldn't be. Okay, it's something that for most of us time will give us, especially with technique and experience in a more physical way, because there's a physical part and an intellectual part in each instrument. The physical part goes into more like a fitness world, really. It's like training, and it's like warming up, and it's like running, really. This is just like running. We just need to start. I don't know. I'm going to minimize a little bit this. Okay. You have let's see. I don't know, this A over here. First of all, for speed, it's important to practice it alternating. And when you go into more and more speed, it's really important also not to lose your technique. Many people think playing faster is just playing faster, but it is not. It's just playing the same way you played, slower but fast. In that matter, you need to be taking care of unwanted noises and bad technique. Okay, so for that, if you play something like this, you all remember that, okay? And if you can't really play it in this speed, or even slower, and it doesn't sound great, it will not sound better if you play it faster. That's a thing important. Many people say, okay, if I play it fast, it sounds like it's great. That shouldn't be your goal here, okay? But mainly for right hand speed, if you have good technique, and as I just talked about right hand technique, if you have all those things covered, and you start going index middle, index middle, index middle, index middle, and you try to push yourself a little bit, okay, trying to go more and more, I'm trying not to lose my technique, trying not to lose my relaxation, really. I'm not getting more tense trying to do this, and that is the thing. If you're getting tense, that will be the end of you in a way. You need to be really loose. And I think a good idea to practice speed is to go into this part of the bass, okay? If you try to be fast over here, it's difficult. Over here you have a little bit more tension, and so it should be a little bit easier to do something like this. The typical warm-up exercise that I will give you really it's something like this. And that is the exercise I tend to always do for warming up and for many other things that I want to test really while playing. So I tend to go faster and faster, and at the time that I know I'm not doing it that great in technique, I stop, okay? I don't want to force myself into go faster and faster and doing a poor technique, doing something like this. and looking like a maniac. Okay, that is not the thing, especially for left hand. Left hands, if you go with more speed, you will need more technique in your left hand. Okay, because people tend to think all the speed comes from here, but really it's not that difficult. We all can do something like this with our fingers. Okay, we all can do something like this. The thing is when you're trying to apply it into a song and apply it into fretting, because fretting needs better technique. Okay, so I would say if you want speed in your right hand, you also need to take a lot of care in your left hand. So for example like this, I would say try to practice this. It's just 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? 5, 6, 7, 8 in each string. And try to push yourself a little bit, okay? But just if you're doing it correctly in technique, okay, especially with your left hand. I'm not lifting my fingers. That is really important. I'm not lifting, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I'm not doing bad position, like, I don't know, something like that, or bending too much of my wrist. Or I'm just in a relaxed position and not a bent wrist. Okay, in this part of the fretboard, fingers really are just to push up and down. Okay, and then you try to go a little bit faster. Once you go faster, probably you will notice already at the time, if you're practicing, that you already lost your technique. So then you should stop and try to go from slower into the same level again, until you reach the point of knowing you're not doing it that great, until you're getting bad sound. That's the indicator, really. So you go and try to go a little bit faster. And that's my limit, I think. Then I just lost it, okay? And I don't care about it, really. I don't care if I can't play that monstrous thing that is really fast. And but I think with this speed you already can achieve many things. So I would say, yeah, in trying to make it a shorter. Technique is everything, really, and position is everything for this. Okay. The more economy you have in your movements, the less movements you do, you will save more stamina and more strength to go distances while playing fast. I think that's the main difficulty over here. It's trying to do something like this. I don't know. For a full song. Or maybe do something like this. Or I don't know, many other example. I don't know. But there are a lot of songs that will give you some trouble with that. So you must try to practice those songs with a slow down. Try to slow them down, okay? And practice, really. Okay, that's enough for this topic for now. Okay. What else? Teach some big tricks. What pick tricks do you know? I don't know if it is a trick. You have to just hold it right and do something. I don't know. What is what do you mean by tricks, really? For me, it's just trying to use it in technique form. Okay, many people don't actually know how to get a good grip on a pick, and it's as simple as trying to put it over here in the second separation of your finger, really, in the second articulation, and then folding it with your thumb, and that's the main position. Okay, it's just the tip of the pick that goes up, and it goes out of the hand. Really, it's not something like this, like a bad guitarist. I don't know. That's the main position, and then you can maybe separate a little bit of your fingers. I don't know, but that's it. Especially for bass, you really need to, if you're playing harder, you need to get a good grip of that, and you can't achieve that if you're doing a position like this. You really need to maintain your hand closed, and maybe even trying to grip with an extra finger over here on the pick, so you get more a little bit more strength. Okay. Okay, I'm going to write that. This is a little bit difficult. I think maybe someday I will pay someone to give me some timestamps on this, or maybe someone would be that great to do that for me. I don't know. You ever seen someone do that sweep slap thing with dead notes? I don't really know what are you referring to, really, but I've seen many things, many weird things, especially when you apply okay, you have I think you have 4 important techniques in slap that will give you a really higher level. Okay, we all manage to most of the time, and it's just slapping, of course, and the popping. But when you go into the other 2 techniques that I really like, and the third one would be left hand slapping. For me, that it's really important to get more into slap, really, and doing something like this. That music I just have from Streamlabs. Sorry. Oh, thanks, Cusionist, I guess. Yeah, that dollar, man. That will feed me the whole week. So the left hand slap. For me, it's really important to get more and more percussive, interesting things with the slapping, and doing something like this, maybe. A lot of Primus things you can apply. Whatever. And for me, the thing that I don't really practice enough, and it's double thumbing, of course, trying to do something like this. if you manage those four things, I think you have a lot of repertoire to do many things and apply them all. Yeah, really, and you can do a lot of things. I don't remember what was my point really. um, yeah, I don't think I'm in the terrain really for give advice on double thumbing. But the main basic thing for me is just doing a, a, an opposite slap really. It's just okay, you slap, you rest. Of course, your most of the time I rest my thumb when I'm slapping. I rest my thumb in the next string, and from that it's really easy to just pull it up and going up. The thing is that your nail must get a little bit accustomed to it, because it's actually your nail that goes with the pressure up. So maybe if it will help you hardening that nail a little bit. I don't know, because for me it still hurts a little bit. Maybe I'm not doing it that great, or maybe I'm not doing it that subtle. I don't know. But maybe I can do something like this. You know, applying it maybe something like that. But I think the basic is that, just trying to use the side of your thumb and a little bit of your nail to go up. Okay. And the movement it's to go right up. I think if you go to the side, it's less powerful. You need to do it more in an upward motion. But I promise I will try to practice it a little bit more, so I give you more examples of it. Okay. Give me some minutes. Magdalena Putzlecherova. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't pronounce it. If I didn't pronounce it that great. Hey man, how long you play on bass? I've been playing for about 7 years now. About something like that. Oh, Mr. Cushionist again? I don't know. But he says, dude, I can't decide whether to play with my 2 fingers, guitar fingerstyle or pick. I always switch back and forth. I'm not too bad with the 3 styles. Okay, you have then guitar fingerstyle or pick. Okay, let me go through all of those techniques. Okay, I'm going to go into detail of this, since you were so nice to give me a little bit of a support. 2 fingers or guitar finger style or pick. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a perspective maybe on why you should really manage to do the 3 of them actually. so you get more and more terrain. Really, that will be my short answer. Really, the thing that you're doing, I think it's great. Switching back and forth with all of them, it's great. Many people tend to go. Many people tend to go into just one technique, and I don't share that much. It's just like the usual thing with pigs are for pussies or whatever thing that some stupid person might say. Trying to give enemies into whatever style of playing you have. There's limitations and there's advantage in each one of them. So I'm going to try to give you some tips on that. But as I said, I think my fast answer would be that's great what you're doing. Managing to play the three of them, that would be great, and we should all do that. And even at the same time, even in a same song, that would be great. So we're going to talk about how can we say this? 3 styles of playing right hand or something like that. I don't know. I actually have a song that I'm working on. It's just a song from my band, and I was just thinking about a nice line that we can apply into it. The song has really strange chords that I really like, and it uses a lot of this sound. This is kind of like a C sharp with another added ninth, and without the third. Really, you have a succession of fifths, and then you have the same succession of fifths, but in A. That is the main thing of the song, and it's kind of like strummed in the guitar, something like that. Maybe if I do it over here, it's clearer. That's the song, actually. Those are the chords of the song, and I was just thinking how to do it to get a nice technique and whatever, and I just came to something like this. And I just remember this because for that last part, I'm actually switching into just playing a strum and the usual plucking of the fingers like this. And that's something I really like, especially in the high register of the bass, and trying to apply like a more guitar oriented thing. And that's because I came from a guitar world, and I'm really comfortable with doing something like the classical guitar plucking of the strings, and I really like it. Okay, so the main technique for that is trying to separate your thumb from your other fingers, and the thumb goes down, of course, and the other fingers just retract to play the songs, the chords, the notes. So that's a usual strumming pattern for guitar. Would be something like this. You have the thumb going down and index and middle going up, and it's a really relaxed position, and only your fingers are moving. And I really like that type of strumming in bass, especially, as I said, for high register. It sounds really, really nice. Of course, you can do the same thing like this. But for me, it's it's less hard to do something like this. You're just moving into one position and only your fingers are moving, okay? As someone is saying in the comments, yeah, it's for Seaman from Ramstein, you can actually do something like that. I don't remember the. See, it's something like this. Yeah. If you do it with just the same usual plugin, it would be something like that. And you're muting the notes not on purpose, but you're not going into the full lead ring that you want. And for this strumming in this part, in this technique, would be really great. You know, to expand yourself into getting into a more guitar-like line. So I just did that. And I really like the little line that I just did. It's something not that special and not that unique or whatever, but it applies two different techniques. And this technique is really lost, and I really like it. And for picking, if you manage good technique in picking, you can get many different things, and especially if you want more attack, more aggressiveness with your playing, pick is really great. Yeah. And if you want to plug, and maybe if you don't reach certain speed with your fingers, you can get into picking, and I've seen that example actually for in songs from Flea, from Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's I think it's how is the song called? Parallel Universe, I think. It's just with a pick, and it's constantly doing this. Something like that. And maybe it would be really hard to maintain a full song doing something like this. And with the same attack, maybe not with the same attack that you will get from a pick. So those three options are options of playing with your right hand. And you have actually a lot more. You know, you have strumming like a guitar, of course, something like that. The Primus type of strumming. Maybe the Jet Li more flamenco style thing. Maybe even with one finger as he plays in sometimes, or maybe with two and doing the flamenco thing. And many other things that you can actually create. I don't know. You have many possibilities. But yeah, I would say thanks for the donation, man, and thanks for understanding that you should try not to limit yourself. I think that's a good example for every one of us. Okay, you see many people that will judge you if you are not doing the common thing, and that is not something to be scared of. Okay, many people are really closed down in their supposed implemented techniques and whatever. You just need to do what you feel you do. You know, that something that will give you more and more creativeness. Even if you're breaking rules, if it benefits creation, I think it's really valid. Okay, if I turn this shit around and maybe I just play it like this, and if it is for creation, it's valid. Okay, that's anything you need to know. Okay, that's it for that. I think I'm going to silence that fanfare. It sounds too stupid. I don't know. Or maybe you like it. I don't know. I think I'm going to be here for a while, a little bit more. So if you have more questions, you can let me know. Okay. Back to questions over here. Can you briefly describe up your rec and monitor gear? Do you make such great sounds only with guitar rig, or do you use any other pedal? Okay, I'm always saying this, and I'm going to actually write it down so people don't get lost. Okay, I'm going to say this is a quick rundown gear. Quick gear rundown, really. Sorry for my stupid English. So really fast, the bass Washburn Taurus T24 goes connected into a California type Fender line, Fender California, that I really like. It's kind of like a common thing, and it goes into a DI box that manages that signal and balances the signal and purifies it a little bit more. In really short words, that signal goes from an XLR cable or a microphone cable into an audio interface. That's a Scarlett 2i2 from Focusrite. Really good, recommended for starters. It goes USB into my laptop, and from the laptop I open a Cubase 5 I use, and I record over there the clean signal. That's for the clean signal, the signal that you're actually using. I'm actually using now. Okay. And for extra things, I'm using amplitude for managing to get more of a cabinet and amplifier sound, and it's really great, especially when you have the Ampeg SVT type of plugin from Amplitude, and that gives you all of the classic Ampeg sounds that I'm really accustomed to, and I really like them. And from that, there I have most of my sound. Really, that's most of the sound that you hear. And from there, I just go into a lot of mixing things, and for that I use plugins like Waves plugins, and I go into compression, equalization, and effects if I really need it. And a guitar rig, I actually use it for guitars. I like the sound of guitar rig on guitars, and not a lot on bass, really. And that's it for most of it. Okay. Then I have the take. I model it. I have it down, and I just go into Sony Vegas, and I just put out everything together. That's it, really. Not much of that, and many other little things that I have to do, but they are more like things on edition and sound engineering, etc. many people may think that I'm modeling my takes. Most of the producers have maybe a baseline, and some people got wrong, and they just record over it. And I don't do that. I always wanted to maintain it organic. So you will hear some mistakes in the takes, the final takes even, and I just left them most of the time like that. Maybe for some difficult songs I had to pinch a little bit of a new recording on top of it just to get it more easily, but and because maybe I was getting tired of that many takes. But for most, and for 99% of what you hear, you have the natural thing. Okay, it's one take always. um I like that Street Fighter pun. Really, it's a great pun. I congratulate you. um I use Cube Amp. I don't know what Cube Amp is. I don't know. It doesn't sound that great. Um, but yeah, the rig that I have is not that impressive actually, especially in the hardware part. It's really basic, and it's really the most basic thing. And for the plugins and for the digital thing, I think I have a little bit more effort into getting on the plugins and whatever. But I think that most of the magic goes into tweaking little parameters, and to get a good sound from the engineering, from the mixing and the mastering, and the whatever. Uh, and I'm not really sure this bass would sound that great in a live session or in a live experience if it's not heavily modulated with plugins and whatever. Okay, it's not that a great bass actually, but I really like it. Um, do you know any theory? I do. I do know some theory. So if you want some answers, I can give you some examples of my knowledge. But what can I say? I studied in college music for about 4 or 5 years. And I know some of the things because we had I don't know, music history, counterpoint, composition, um, a lot of the things I managed to know a little bit of them, but I'm not the best, of course. The same mister says you should learn some scales. I know some scales. Yeah, we all should know some scales, really. Especially going through over them. You know, I'm trying to go into to play the major scale and try not to stop in the whole fretboard. Um, but usually I don't know if you're talking to someone in the chat or if you're talking to me. Sorry. But yeah, I'm going to get into the conversation and say that learning scales is the most important thing you need to do for that. And if someone doesn't know a scale, we can work it out, okay? Especially for, I think major scale is the most important, and then you can go into minor, and then you can go into pentatonic, and then you can go into blues. Many people start with pentatonic, and that's a good example because it's an easier scale to understand and to apply into this instrument. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I think we're I think this has been great, very exhaustive. I don't know. I think I'm wanting to leave now. I feel tired. That's great. So maybe one last question that we can go into. I would love it if some of you give me some questions about playing some parts of the songs really that I've been playing, so we can play a little bit more. But that's for the next time. I don't care. I really want to do whatever you want to, especially if you have important doubts. And today it has been really productive in many ways to understand many things. What do you mean with freestyling technique? For me, freestyling it's like rap battles. I don't know. Maybe improvisation. Are you referring to improvising? You can tell me. What are the tattoos in your arms? They are just tattoos. They are the infinite symbol. That's everything. And it's a quite minimalistic work, really. I don't like the high detail on tattoos. I don't like the whole sleeve with a lot of detail and whatever. I really like minimalism in its essence in music and in many other things. And I try to apply it into a philosophy, I think. Okay, I think this is enough for today. So I'm going to give a final advice to Gerson over here. You need to refer it like it is, so people understand you. Okay, it's most of the time it's called improvising. I understand now. Yeah, freestyling is kind of like the same thing, but we usually refer it to like improvising. Okay, and I'm going to go into more detail, of course, next week and whatever. But for improvising, you really need to know, first of all, improvising is just trying to create something at the time that it goes, and that is everything. And for that, you need to know some resources. And the first one is knowing on what context are you improvising. Okay, on what key, on what harmony, on what chord, on what notes, and finally how to apply those notes into creating a line, for example, or improvising in a solo way. Okay, so I gave an example last stream for something that easy as like a C major. Okay, if you have a C major played by a guitar, how do you know how to play a line over that? First, you need to know the notes that compound that chord, the scale that you can apply over that chord, and finally all the techniques and all the composition thing that I think is the most important. Okay, I don't have much time now to go into more detail, but I can recommend you to, in the meantime, try to go into one of my videos that it's called major scale, I think I called it, in which you need to understand first how to play scales. I have it for major scale, I have it for blues scale, I think. And then go into your favorite song and try to understand it, but note for note. Okay, try to go into one of my videos, and all the chords that you see in the upper part of the tablature will give you some idea of how to improvise on what chord, how to make a line on what chord. Okay, but we need to go into a lot of detail, so I'm going to skip for now. Okay, let's go back for next week, and I will give you maybe a full-on thing. Okay. Usually I try to respond to questions that are more focused, because people come here and tell me, how do I play bass, and what do you want from me, really? I'm not saying that's your example, but many people come here and think, okay, solve any of my problems, and you really need to go into a little bit of detail, so you have a doubt that it has its limits. Okay, I'm not going to talk for 2 hours on a question. But okay, I think that this is enough for today. So thanks so much, everyone coming over here. We are exactly like a medium-sized class right now. We're about 40 or 50 people. That if we were in a classroom, we would be just like the same thing, and I really like that. So feel free of understanding this as a class. Okay, if you want to go into Facebook and send me videos that we can analyze actually in these instances of your playing, and getting critique over it, critique over your songs, actually over lines that you created on your songs, that would be great also to see on the Facebook messages, and whatever you want to show me. Okay, so we can all learn from you, and we can all learn from me, and it's all community over here. Okay. So thanks every one of you, and I will see you next Friday. The time is relative, but it's usually 3 or 4 p.m. over here in my country. That actually, I think it's about the same time as the time in New York. I'm not really sure, but it's about kind of like the same time zone. I don't remember. Okay. So goodbye, and thanks for the donations over there. Thanks for keep the support. That's really helpful, and we are all going forward. I'm not just me. It's not just me going forward here. We're all going forward, and you're supporting me, and you're giving pure love, man. Because I'm not supported by any type of other second part that it isn't you guys. So thanks for everything. Thanks especially to patrons if you're watching this. Okay, so that's it. Goodbye.